Welcome in, everybody. This is going to be a fun little session, guys, talking about business planning, ready for 2026. My name is Jeremy Collins. I am a luxury real estate marketing coach. I have the honor and privilege of hanging out with my good friend, Janie Coffey, today, really kind of diving into what 2026 will look like and what it should look like if you're looking to expand your luxury business. So, Janie, welcome. Oh, you're muted. Sorry. It was a great intro, but oh, it still says muted. Hold on. Let me get you in here. Hold on, guys. We have some technical difficulties. It still says muted.
I've unmuted it.
There we go. Now you're ready to rock. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. But what I was saying, excuse me, this is like the really exciting time because this is when we get to spend some time thoughtfully planning how we want our next year to go, or next 2 or 3 years to go. You know, a lot of the times in real estate, we're like going, and we don't have any time to slow down and work on our business because we're so in the mix of it, putting out fires, dealing with team members, all the stuff. But now is the time that we can really spend however much you can carve out to really work on how you want to craft your business going forward. And real estate is the one thing that with having a real estate license, you can literally craft your own path forward. There are no barriers. Any barriers you have are all in your mind. And the one thing I want to get across today is to let you know that whatever you envision for yourself and your career, you can create. It might not all happen in a year, but you can lay a very, very solid foundation in the next year. And if you're already halfway there or 2/3 the year there, then you can spend next year just like bringing it home. So let's get on into it. This is kind of a business planning session with a spin on specifically luxury, and we want it to be interactive. We can see your chats coming in and your messages coming in, and we want it to be super interactive and fun and not just a boring old business planning.
Before we get rolling too much into it, Jenny, I always like to know, guys, are you ready for 2026 yet? Like we're close. Like we are like on the cusp of 2026. So many agents have took their foot off the pedal. Like I talk to agents on a daily basis and literally I know that they're taking their foot off the pedal. And I'm always like, what are you doing? This is your business for January, February, and March. What you do right now, even in the planning stages, is your business coming up. So we have to really dive into this stuff. And so even if you pick up 1 or 2 things from this session, guys, the key word here is implement, right? We got to implement stuff because if we don't, what are we doing? Right? We don't want to waste time. So thank you guys so much for the feedback. I'm going to put you guys up on the screen. Welcome Austin, Texas, and Des Moines, and who else is in it? San Francisco's in the house. Florida's in the house. Who else? Atlanta. Welcome. Hot Atlanta, right? All right, keep going.
North Carolina, Kentucky. We have a lot of people. So as Jeremy said, instead of I love to take trainings. I am a training junkie. That's probably why Jeremy and I do this, as we both love training. But I encourage you to find, even if it's just one tangible thing from what we discussed today, that you take that away and implement it. So is that a deal? Give me a thumbs up, a star, a heart, something like that. So I know that you guys are going to take at least one thing and commit to implementing it in your business. Jeremy, I'm not seeing any stars. Maybe there's a delay or a heart or a thumbs up. So let those come.
A lot of comments, though. We're okay. We got people saying they're at least going to do it. Hopefully, that's the plan, guys. Right? If not, get it now. We're going to ask you again at the end of the session. And I want you to put in the one thing you're going to do. Right? That's a huge opportunity here. Because why waste your time if you're not going to do anything? Let's rock it. Right?
Yeah. So like I was saying, this isn't just about business planning. It's about setting the stage, about what you want to create, about creating life balance, creating freedom. And so I want you to kind of set the stage, figure out like, where do you want to, let me just jump over here. Hold on one sec, guys.
Yeah.
I've got too many screens going on.
I'm loving this roadmap to success because what I love about it is, they're huge. Like in terms of what you have here, set the stage. A lot of times we don't set the stage. We just go. Right?
Yeah.
We don't even load the gun. We just shoot. And a lot of times that just doesn't work. It just is haphazard. So setting the plan is a big deal.
Setting the plan and setting the vision. And I encourage you, when you're setting your vision, to not put your safety goggles on. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times when we're creating business plans or future vision casting, we do that through the lens of safety goggles to protect ourselves. We don't want to dream too big. And I would encourage you to dream big. Like, what would that look like? Like, really craft a future. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to think about what could that, nobody's going to know unless you execute on it. So dream really big, and let's see how we can get you into those dreams. So set that stage. When I moved to a new market 10 years ago, I've been in my new market for 10 years. I had no team. I had no sphere of influence. I had not a single person knew me other than the agents at my office. And I created a vision in my head that was crystal clear, of driving up the beach road from my oceanfront house in my beautiful vehicle, waving to people. I had like my princess wave going, and all the people I could envision in my head were my happy past clients seeing me passing by, arriving at my office with my happy and excited team members and colleagues and things like that. I really planned it all out. I actually picked that beach house. I ended up not getting that beach house, but I got a farmhouse. So in my mind, it was a trade-off over 10 years of evolution, but I got crystal clear on what I wanted to create for myself. So figure out, what does that look like for you? Not just, I want to sell a few more houses, but what does that dream life look like? And lock into that. The next thing is figuring out, what obstacles do you have? And we all have obstacles to get to our next level, whatever that is. That could be our own self. We might be our own obstacle, maybe with our habits or our mindset or our productivity skills, or just skills in general. It might, excuse me, it might be a mismatch with a partner, a team member, a brokerage environment. That might be a mismatch. You might be spread too thin. You've got too many different things going on. So really figure out, what are the obstacles when you're really honest with yourself. And let's say you had to get to that vision. Like, there was no ifs, ands, or buts. You were going to get to that vision. Then it would get real for you about, what do I need to clear out of the way in order to get to that vision? For me, it's often doing a little too many things. I'm like, really have ADHD and dive in. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I'm the same way. I mean, for me, I literally, for me, it's not finishing stuff. Like, for me, I get into it and I'm like, ooh, this is going to be awesome. And I go after it and I create these awesome things, but then I don't really do a great job on the implementation side. So like, I don't know if you guys are feeling what I'm feeling, but it happens, right? And so what we want to do is look at these obstacles and write them down. For me, if I write them down, it's going to help me realize, oh crap, that is me. I need to figure out what I need to fix that. And so what we need to do is build this system. So 2026 to me is all about systems and processes. So like, do we want extra stuff in our system that don't make sense? No, we want a streamlined system that's going to work for us. So, dream big in the first stage. You could do that for sure. But 2, figure out what's going to stop you from doing those things, and then eliminate those. And I think a lot has to do with mindset, and a lot has to do with focus, and a lot has to do with, figure out what we really want to get accomplished. But we have to figure out what it is and be honest with ourselves. The stage 2 to me is an honesty stage. It's where, okay, this is kind of where I am now. Let's fix it.
Absolutely. We ourselves are often our biggest obstacle, and we don't even know it. We don't even acknowledge it. We blame it on our brokerage. We blame it on the economy. We blame it on our business partner or our life partner. We blame it on the education that we have or the education we don't have. Sometimes in real estate, we even blame it on our clothing or our car or things like that. When we give up blaming it on other things, we take all of our power into ourselves, because we can create anything. That's one of the things I love about the industry of real estate, is it is wide open to anybody who wants to do the work. So we're going to work on the 5 models that we have to have in place. And we're also going to kind of bring it all together and wrap it up so that you have an actionable plan. If anybody wants to share any part of their big vision in the notes, I think we love to see it.
Yeah, drop in, guys. Like, if you, what's your goal? Like, literally, we would love to know. And if you haven't thought about it, this is a great opportunity to think about it. Like, no, going into January, do you have a number? You don't have to share the number, but do you have a number that says, okay, this is the amount of transactions I'm going to do. This is the amount of income I want to make, right? Set the goals and let's just figure out ways to get there.
Mm-hmm. And in addition to those financial goals or transaction goals, what does that mean to you? Like, what does that really mean to you? Doing X number of transactions or earning X amount of dollars doesn't mean anything if you haven't translated it into the life that you're going to live, the impact you're going to have, the security you're going to build, whatever those things are. It's different.
The time with your family, Danny, like add in there, like your family time. Like, this is part of your vision. Your business in real estate, guys, you guys know this, right? It is not just real estate. You know, the business of real estate that you're in, because you're all CEOs, right? You know, it has to do with your family too. It has to do with your time, your vacation. You know, what do you want to throw into this thing? And figure out that's the goal. And then the next step is figure out how to accomplish that.
So this is a quote from Oprah that I love. It says, create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life because you become what you believe. By the way, this whole slide deck, thank you very much to my partner and sponsor and good friend and mentor and coach, Stacy Peterson, who helped create this deck and was a big part of what's everything behind this deck. So wishes and thoughts and prayers go out to her. And thank you so much.
Love that. Shout out to George. George, thanks for sharing, listing 36 properties and representing 12 buyers. I love it. Great goal, man.
Yeah. So we do need to have a little bit of hindsight and reflection. Your top 5 accomplishments for last year, or even, last year's been kind of a dull, flat year for a lot of us. Go back the last 5 years, go back to your career. What are the 5 things that you are most proud of in your real estate career that you would love to duplicate and build on and get excited about? What are those things that light you up? And that help you reach that vision and that goal? And then what are the challenges that arose? I don't think anybody in real estate has any shortage of challenges these past few years, from the economy to interest rates to the lawsuit, which is now, a variety of ongoing lawsuits, to Zillow, to all the things. We've had enough challenges. Figure out what they are. And then I encourage you, what I want you to do is kind of do a SWOT analysis, SWOT, SWOT, strengths, your strengths.
Yep.
Weaknesses, what are your weaknesses? Opportunities, where's the opportunity going forward? And threats, what's the threat for you to reach that vision? I know you are all going to reach the vision, but what's the threat that's going to slow you down?
I think some practical stuff in this steps, Janie, is to look back at let's just take marketing, for example. Look back on all your marketing efforts, your marketing campaigns, whatever you ran, right? And figure out what came out of it. Now, that's the point of tracking. So if we're lacking on the tracking side, we probably need to enhance that next year so we know what value you got out of those campaigns, right? Because honestly, there's some campaigns that I've ran in the past that fell flat. It just didn't work. And so guess what? I look at it and say, I'm not doing that again next year. But there's agents, guys, that do the same thing year after year after year because they're just in a habit of it, and it's not successful in a year. So we have to figure out what those challenges were that were like, oh, probably not a guy to do that again. Let's shift and do something different.
Absolutely. And what lessons did I learn, or what lessons should I have learned, right?
Yeah,
and so these are all ingredients that we're going to use to put into our 2026 business plan. So spend a little bit of time to do those things. Don't just be on the same course you were on before because you don't slow down to make a plan, right? And that's what I see so many agents do. So assess your business, assess all the things that you're doing. Are you attracting business? Are you converting it well? Are you delivering it? And those are 3 different things. Attracting means having business, marketing, getting out there, getting opportunities in front of you. And in today's market, I think one of the most important things we all need to do is to work on a really big funnel. And what I mean by a big funnel is if we find ourselves working with people who are not realistic, they're not nice, they're not motivated, it's because our funnel is too narrow, meaning there's too few people going in at the top expressing some level of interest in doing real estate with you.
Yep.
So that out of scarcity, out of lack, out of fear, out of anxiety, you end up working with the wrong people. You end up working with unmotivated people, unrealistic people, and sometimes not even nice people. If you build a larger funnel, meaning you're getting more leads, more opportunities, more exposure in the top, then as they go through the stages of knowing who you are, to having a conversation with you about meeting up, to having some kind of presentation with them, to signing some kind of agreement with them, buyer side or list side, down to actually working with them. If you have a big enough funnel, you can be the person vetting them and filtering them out at the top. So that is a really, really, really game-changing piece of business strategy that a lot of people don't do. And we're seeing it right now. Lots and lots of people are working with people they really shouldn't be. And I don't mean shouldn't be. I mean, those people don't deserve your time.
So good.
Does that make sense?
Your time is worth it. And like literally the time you guys are investing, guys, think of that as a monetary value, because then you may be like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't. But honestly, I mean, I work with agents across the country, guys. I'm known as the system, process, lead gen guy, and the CRM guy. Like, I love that stuff. And so, let me ask you a question before we dive too much into it. Who in here could do a better job in 2026 of managing their CRM? My guess is probably 80% or more will raise your hand in here and say, yeah, I need to do a better job at it. And here's the deal, guys. You probably have your next deal either in your phone or in your CRM. It's sitting there. And we have to work. I know I see Mies. Thank you so much for being honest. It's true. And so in this process, guys, we need to reflect on, the conversions. Look at all the people in your database right now. What does your conversions look like? Do we need to actually reach out to these people in our database to make those conversions higher? Sure we do, right? And so don't stress on, I got to bring more in. Like literally, I met with an agent 2 weeks ago that we sat down and they are generating anywhere from 300 to 500 leads a month. And I was like, whoa, slow your roll, buddy. And I was like, let's look at your conversion rate. We were down way below 1%, way below. And I was like, let's figure out a system that's going to work for you. So now we shifted his marketing ideas. We're shifted the dollar amount from lead generation to lead conversion. And now we've got a system that's working for him. He's already gotten one deal in the past 2 weeks just after that conversion strategy. So just think through, guys, it may be an optimization opportunity versus a complete change opportunity, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So next thing, I think I'm speaking to 90% of agents right now who have a delegation problem. And you can say yes me in the chat if you want to. And what I mean by that is you feel that only you can do it as well as you do it. Your clients only want to work with you. This step I've been doing forever has to be done. And going into 2026, I don't think there's been a year yet that we can become much, much more efficient by delegating tasks, by eliminating unnecessary tasks, by automating tasks, and by eliminating tasks.
So good.
So look at all the things you do, and AI is our friend, whether you like it or not. AI is so awesome to do so many things, and all of that it's not replacing you. It's bubbling up so that you can more and more and more focus clearly on your zone of genius and what you're really good at and what nobody else does. Because you can have now, if you have an assistant, your assistant who maybe was doing pure administrative, pure manual type labor stuff, you might be able to use AI or tools or different things like that to do some of the tasks the assistant's doing so that you can bring up the assistant to do more higher level tasks that free you up to do the things that are in your zone of genius. You might be an amazing, amazing networker. Your time should be out there talking to people a good chunk of the day. You might be an amazing content creator. Your time should be out there creating the videos, doing the things like that, not necessarily editing the videos. You might be an amazing writer and really can bring stuff down that makes a lot of sense for incredible blogs that only you have that really inside knowledge. You might be an incredible skill builder or team builder. Like, figure out what is your zone of genius and see how you can focus the lion's share of your personal time, because time is the one thing none of us,
for sure,
whether you're the president of the United States, the Pope, anybody, you cannot create more time for yourself. So you should be leveraging every minute of every day that you spend working, doing the highest level tasks that you can, and delegating, eliminating, automating, and what was the other one?
I think the deal though in this one is, when talking about delegation, is really trying to figure out, the ROI, right? What is your return of investment? And so, like, for me, is that a solid return of investment if I spend an hour in Canva versus paying someone $25 to do it for me? I'm just looking at it, guys. I want to get the best ROI out of my business. And so when we start optimizing every task, or every opportunity we're doing, or every phone call we're making, or every email we're trying to set and create for hours, what's the return on that? We have to figure that out. And also, I love that Janie mentioned that you have to focus on what you do great,
right,
and then push everything else off to somebody else. And that's how you grow a business. That's how you really see. I see somebody talk about the other day how to pour rocket fuel on the rocket ship is how you delegate the stuff that bog you down, the stuff that you just get drained by on a weekly basis. There's tons of tasks out there for that, and start working very slowly. Because, guys, I'm a horrible delegator. Like, for me, I look at it and go, I'd just rather do it myself. I don't know about you guys. That's how I am. Because I have a certain idea about things I want things done. But here's the deal. If it got done my way or someone else's way, getting done is really the main goal there. And so a lot of times it really doesn't matter. And so I think that just think ROI. Every time you spend time doing something, think, am I getting a good return on my investment on my time?
And I think on top of that, it shouldn't just be the return on investment on your time. It should be the return of joy and the return of passion. Because if we're an incredible, let's say I'm an incredible negotiator, which, by the way, I am, but let's say I'm an incredible negotiator, but it drains me. I don't want to spend that much time doing that. I want to find somebody else to partner with, train somebody up, something like that, who can handle a lot of that, so that I can focus on the things not only that I'm really good at and that are unique to me, but also fill my battery, not drain my battery. And we need to be really honest with ourselves in real estate. No one single individual human can do all the things that a really great real estate agent as a sum. It's not possible. Not everybody is incredible in marketing, in lead gen, in negotiations, in administrative detail and minutia, in compliance, in negotiations. All of that doesn't exist in one person. And then you add on top of that the things to just be a decent human, with cleaning your home, taking care of your family, feeding yourself. Like, we need to give up the idea that we need to be perfect at all the things, and find ways that we can be the best with the things that we're really good at, and the things that expand us and give us joy and make us even bigger, and find people that we can pay, partner with, etc., to do all the rest. And I mean that in your household life as well. That's just a little aside.
So good.
Even when I've been in real estate 20 years, so I have been up and down in all the cycles, which means I've often been up and down with my income. I never, ever didn't have somebody to help me in some way, shape, or form around the house, because that's just not that doesn't give me joy.
We're the same way, Janie. Like literally, my wife is a full-time, full-time mom. She's full-time everything else. I feel like everything else I don't do well, she's a full-time of it. And, we've always had somebody to help us. And then the deal is, here's this, what the issues, the problems, the stresses that happen in your personal, the off real estate world, right? They bleed into your business.
Yeah.
And so just know we have to find a healthy balance in both sides, business and personal, because I could shout the stories from the rooftops about how my business has suffered from my personal stresses. And so just think out what that whole looks like. And many, I mean, obviously, Jenny, I've been part of many business planning meetings, and a lot of times it's all about the business, but I also bleed into it's also about the personal side too. And so when you're doing this, I think it's a full scale opportunity.
100%. It definitely is, because if you're doing business planning in your IBM or you're a large corporation, of course, you're going to be 100% focused on the business side of things,
Yep.
maybe on the cultural side of things too,
Yeah, no doubt.
but on the business side of things. But each one of us, whether we are a solo agent or a team leader or a team member or a brokerage owner or a brokerage agent, because we are entrepreneurial, how we live our lives, how we run our lives directly impacts our business, and vice versa. So it is something you cannot neglect. And once you take care of whatever that biggest thing is that's bothering you, that you've been putting off because you're too busy with work, and I promise we all have one. Sometimes that's taxes, sometimes that's health or a project or our fitness or doctor's appointments or relationships. Once you tackle that biggest one, even if you start to plan to tackle it, it takes a load off your shoulders. So this is all just an aside conversation, but I don't think it's talked about enough in real estate.
I agree. Love it.
Yeah. So the next thing is we need to look at the numbers. In order to see where you're going, we must not only remember where we have been, but we must understand where we have been. Right. So
yeah, you're right.
Let's take.
Hey, Jenny, real quick before you go to the numbers, because numbers are huge. A couple of questions came in. I saw, do you recommend any local assistance? ASNs? Here's what I'm going to do. If you guys do me a favor, I'm going to put a banner up real quick. You can you can message DM Janie. She's at Janie C. Or you can message me at Marketing Savvy Coach. Just send me a DM. I've got tons of resources on, like, if you want specifics on certain things, like if you want AI assistance, or if you want a workbook on something, we've got, between Jane and I, we've got pretty much any resources I think you probably ever wanted. And so feel free to message us both, and we'll be glad to help you with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we've tried all the different things too.
We've tried it, and we probably failed at a lot of them. Some of them were like, no, you don't want that. Like most times when I do one-on-one coaching, they're like, hey, what about this lead gen source? I'm like, no, don't do it. Or, because we've had experience in most aspects of the businesses. So feel free, guys. That's what our DMs are for.
Yep. Okay, so take out a piece of paper or on your computer, whatever. Take a picture of this if you need to, so that you can work on it later. You might not want to do it right now, but we're just going to do kind of the basic numbers. First, how much do you want to make, right? The next thing is, what is your total office split? What is going to your brokerage in the form of split, royalty, fees, things like that? What is that? And then you need to put a portion for your taxes and your expenses. So Jeremy, you can share what you've seen for solo agents as far as a portion for taxes and expenses, but that's going to be depending on the state you're in and your tax bracket.
Absolutely.
Hey guys,
here's the deal though. Put aside tax money, because there's way too. I mean, I saw a number the other day, blew my mind. It was like 60% of real estate agents are behind on taxes. And I was like, is that correct? And I had to really think about it. It probably is. Like, so that's numbers, guys, that we have to account for. Like for me, I put 10% back on everything I make to my marketing budget. I put another percentage back to my taxes. Put another percent. Like I'm always thinking about that, because like if I don't, I'm going to forget about it. And then at the end of the year, I'm going to be like, oh crap. And we don't want the oh crap moments. That's more stress that you don't want to keep putting on yourself.
Yeah, so you're going to have a percentage there that might be as low as 20%. It might be as high as 50% or more when you're combining your business expenses and your taxes. Remember, so many agents forget, and they just think of GCI as pure spendable money, and it's not. You're a business owner. You have expenses. You have taxes. So we're going to add up how much you want to make, take home, basically, How much you're going to be paying to your brokerage. That might be, you have to do a percentage and back into that, or it might be a fixed number. And then how much are you going to need to set aside for taxes and expenses?
I actually, guys, talking about the marketing stuff, somebody just commented 10% marketing. I've done that for years. I've owned probably 4 or 5 businesses. I run a consulting group. I run a membership group. And so here's the deal. Every time the dollars come into the bank, I'll automatically have a second bank account just for my marketing. And so literally dollars come in, let's say $100 come in. I take $10 of that and I move it into my marketing bank account. And then that way I know at the end of the month, I'm like, okay, I have this amount of money to spend. And it really, a lot of times it adds up quickly. And I'm like, yeah, I get excited. I'm like, what? Yes, I get to do something fun and I get to do something powerful and I get to build this lead gen system or go into this. And it gets me so excited to say there's money there. Yeah. And I think that's the key.
Yeah. Like even with my coaching and training to the outside world, we put a very hefty amount into just ad spend.
Oh, yeah.
And so we take that right off the top. So we always know that of every dollar that comes in from coaching and training, a certain percentage going right back out to ads. Right. So we always know we have the fuel to run the car, right? And it's the same way in real estate sales. We need fuel to run the car. That's marketing. That's your other expenses and things like that. You can't be running on empty with all of that. So again, take a picture. This might be a lot to try to do right now in this thing, but this is going to help you out. You're going to take your total GCI from the previous year, or you can extrapolate to the end of 2025, the total of number of transactions, and that's going to give you your average commission per sale. So your average commission, you're taking home $15,000, you're taking home $25,000, you're taking home 10 or 50. It totally depends on your marketing, your price point. But that's going to give you an idea of how many transactions now are we going to need for 2026 to be able to meet those goals, to be able to pay what we want to earn, to be able to pay our office for the split and the fees that we owe them, and to cover our taxes and expenses. So when we get that, we're then going to take D, which is adding those all together, and divide it by E, which is our average commission check. And then we're going to get how many number of closed transactions do we need. Now, closed transactions, if you're in a state that allows you to be on the buy and sell side, you might know that X percentage of your transactions you have the buy, sell, and the sell side. So I'm in Florida. We are allowed to work on both sides, and about 25% of my transactions, I end up doing both sides. That's one reason is I market my listings a lot. The next reason is I specialize in a niche, so I just get a lot of eyeballs looking for the types of properties I sell directly finding me. But that's
Jenny, can they get this? Can we maybe after the end of this we can get if I can get a screenshot, we'll get you send me over this.
Yeah, we can do that, and then you can share that.
Feel free, maybe the easiest way. I don't know if DM's the best way to get it or not, but feel free. You can DM me. I'll grab it from Janie, and I'll be glad to.
Or we can maybe grab it. Drop a link maybe into the YouTube as well.
We'll find a way to do it. Yeah, we'll put it into the YouTube comments as well, but feel free to reach out. We'll figure it out.
Okay. So you all may or may not have this information, but if you do have the information, if you don't have the information, it's okay. I want you to do this for 26 going forward. So when you get to your 2027 business planning, you'll be able to reflect and look back at this. But ideally, you do want to know how many listing appointments did you go on? How many did you take? Because by having your conversion ratio, that's going to let you know how many listing appointments do you need to generate. And right now, in today's market, where it's kind of slow in a lot of markets, you're going to need more listings than you normally would because a larger number are not selling like they used to. They're expiring. They're taking their homes off the market. So don't be so enthusiastic to think, 100% or 90% of all my listings are going to sell. That's going to end up having you under plan or under project how many listings you need, which means how many listing appointments you need, right? And then we want to know, where are your listing sources, and note out your top 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 listing sources. I found when I did this exercise, I was getting far more listing opportunities from fellow agents than I ever realized, because people see me, I'm doing trainings, they hear I'm in St. Augustine, and they're contacting me with listing opportunities, which gave me kind of the permission, so to speak, to lean in to help agents even more, because I realized that was a really great listing source. You might find you're getting them from your social media or from just referrals from past clients. Figure out where they are. You might be spending a lot of money in a certain lead source and it's not converting like you thought. And then you might find you haven't been spending a lot of effort, time, or even mental bandwidth to another lead source and it's been converting a lot. So just do this exercise. Look back at where, even over the last 2 years, where did those business opportunities come from?
We do an exercise every year, Janie, with a lot of coaching agents. And so what we do is we'll go through and say, all right, I want you to pull your last 10 closings, last 20 closings, whatever you had. Pull them up on your CRM. And then literally, if you don't have the notes where you got this person from, try to fill it out. Like, we want to make sure at the end of the year, you go back and you say, oh, okay, I got it from that. Oh, I got it from that. Oh, wow, that came from postcards? Crazy. And you start thinking through where it all comes from, because without that data, it really hurts and it doesn't leverage what you could potentially do in the future. And so keep the data strong, right? I'm a data guy. I'm a data nerd. And so I believe in making sure everything's tracked. I want to see every dollar amount that went out. I want to see where it came from. And so I think that the key would be, and most agents don't. So you're not you're not the lone wolf here. Okay. Most agents don't do a good job tracking. That's just the truth. And so if you want to kind of step up a little bit, start every time you add somebody to your database, put in the notes in your database where they came from. Like every time. It will help in the long run.
It will. The next thing we want you to look at, if you haven't already, is really look at your branding. Is it giving, 2025, 2026, 2027 vibes? Is it fresh? Is it forward looking? Or is it starting to look maybe a little bit long in the tooth? And now is a really great time, the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, to retool your branding. And what we mean by that, branding is a process of connecting good strategy with good creativity. Your brand is not just your logo. Your brand is not just your fonts. Your brand is not just your colors. It is the whole thing of what people think about you when you're not in the room. So what do they think about you? That is your brand. And whether you intentionally have created a brand or not, you do have a brand. You are in business for the public. They have an idea of what you do, how you do it. And so being thoughtful about how you're going to craft that becomes really, really important, especially in today's world. So let's kind of take a look at a real quick kind of branding elevator pitch. We have so much more to cover, so I'm going to kind of speed it up a teeny bit. But what do you provide? I provide what's the primary benefit of your business. So I provide equestrian marketing and listing expertise in Northeast Florida, for example, for, equestrian property owners in Northeast Florida. What's the problem your audience is facing? Right now, a lot of equestrian property owners in Northeast Florida don't really know how they're going to find a buyer for their property in a slower market. I provide that expertise. Unlike what's their existing solution? Their existing solution would be to, say, list with a regular agent who doesn't specialize in equestrian properties. My offering is, and then what's your biggest differentiator? I'm an equestrian who specializes in expired equestrian properties. I know how to take properties that were listed by a regular agent and bring them back on the market, reposition them, remarket them in a fresh way, specific to find the best buyers who are willing to pay the highest the market will bear in today's market for equestrian properties. That's very super clear. So be thinking about you. What do you provide? Who do you provide it for? What do you do differently versus the other alternative, and what your offering is? I always talk about the category of one agent. I want you to be thinking, how can I position myself as a category of one agent, and how can I get that message out there with marketing?
And once you get that statement, guys, it's perfect to add that to your Instagram bio. Like, if you could quickly say one statement that sums up everything that you do, that's what that is. It's an elevator pitch, right? So like for me, I'm a marketing coach that strives on helping real estate agents grow their business. And so what is that statement that says about you? And that's going to be your defining statement for 2026. Let people see that.
And really think about, again, how can you become a category of one? How can you stand out from the sea of AI generated headshots and generic marketing and cookie cutter kind of marketing that everything looks the same? How can you really stand out as something special and unique? So the next thing, marketing. If people like you, they will listen to you, but if they trust you, they will do business with you. And so trust, back again to that category of one agent, trust is establishing that you do something different than everybody else that they have access to. And I use this all the time in my expireds course. I'm like, if I murdered somebody, not that I'm going to, but if I murdered somebody, I'm not going to go to a general attorney. I am going to find a criminal defense attorney who specializes in that kind of case. It might cost me more. I might be harder to get in front of them, but I'm going to value them as a category of one attorney for my needs. And it's the same thing with real estate. We need to start to figure out how can we stand out as a category of one? Because when we do, objections about commission, price, terms of our listing agreement, things we need to have done to the house to get it marketable, the way buyers should write their offers, all that diminishes down when they realize they need to work with you versus it is a blessing to work with them. It totally changes the dynamic.
And I think I just did a huge referral course with my Level Up members the other day. And so it really came down to, to generate more referrals, which, by the way, guys, that should be part of your business plan, is how to get more referrals from your current, database, your current top 25 VIP. By the way, if you don't have a top 25 VIP list, that's a no-brainer. Like that, you got to have that. And then you have to focus on reaching those, because what happens when those top 25 people trust you, you're going to get referrals from that top 25 list. It's just how it works. And so make sure, guys, the trust factor is in everything you do. Everything's white glove service. Everything makes them feel like they're loved, they're cared for. We don't need to be real estate agents. We need to be human sometimes, right? Yeah. We need to make sure they hear us and hear our thoughts and our passions. Like I'm a hugger. When you see me in person, I'm going to get a hug. You're going to hug you. And that's just how it is. And so make people feel that every interaction you have with them.
So let's figure out who is your avatar. And we're going to find all these things and where do they collide for you specifically. So your avatar, what buyers and sellers want, what you do exceptionally well. So that's going to cross over your sweet spot and what makes you different. What your competition does exceptionally well, and that says no one wants this and no one cares. That's where that crosses over. And then you want to be, this is where everybody is doing and what's not unique. So you need to find, what do you do really, really special right here that your competition is not doing? You see, that's not intersecting there at all. What buyers and sellers want and what you do exceptionally well. Right? So again, going back to my equestrian expired example, does that mean I only sell equestrian expired properties? No, but I can create my branding that talks to that avatar. I can create my branding that speaks to historic homeowners. I can create my branding that talks to expired sellers in general, but I'm always putting things together. And as much as I can niche down or talk to a few avatars, but really deep instead of broad in general, the more they're going to feel like they have to have us. We are the foregone conclusion that they're going to want to work with us.
So good.
So the next thing you want to do is audit all of this. So it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. What you think, if you think about that, you'll do things differently. So it just means audit your socials, audit what's out there, increase your brand awareness. Every one of us should be working on brand awareness. Every one of us. There's nobody out there who couldn't grow their brand awareness even more. We need to work on.
Many agents cringe in this part, guys. This is do I want to go back and look at the stuff I've done? Right? Do I want to go back and look at, what was done real well and stuff they're doing bad? You have to audit. When I bring on a new coaching client, this is it. This is our first step. We go through and audit everything. We audit their CRM, we audit their social media, we audit their email blasts, we audit their text messages, and we change it all mostly. Some of them do really well, so we don't change everything. But you look at it and go, okay, what can we improve on? And it makes a big difference. Like if you look at everything and go, ooh, I don't like that. Guess what? Other people may look at it and go, I don't like that. And so we've got to make sure, don't just regurgitate stuff and just make it hit. We have to have a plan in place to make our socials are hit right, make sure our emails do right. Like I had an agent I met with yesterday, guys, that literally sends out these newsletters that were cringe-worthy. Like I was like, oh my gosh, you're doing you more harm by sending this thing out. And so we changed it up. We actually had a personal story she sent out instead of a newsletter. And so it really has been a big difference for her. So what are you doing different, right?
Jeremy made me think TikTok is my vice. In the evening when I need to settle my brain, I scroll TikTok. And this agent came up and he had like the most amazing, he had the most amazing like property in New York City. And he was doing like a video tour walking through, this is where I spend my winters at because it's so cozy and everything. And I was like, how did that agent become so wealthy to own this, like, I don't know, $10 million New York property? And so I started to scroll his feed. And then his next one was, I don't know, let's call it at a horse farm. This is where I take my horses in the spring to exercise. And the next one was like a house somewhere else. So that's literally how he was. I'm going back to like social profiles. It was so engaging. He was doing his listing walkthroughs as if they were his home.
So cool.
I was so addicted. I mean, I was like, whoa, this is mind blowing.
Hey guys, take that nugget right there. That nugget right there, take that. And now you have your own story to place. Like sit down in your next listing with a cup of coffee and goes, I love
Oh my gosh.
I mean, how cool is that? I love
Jeremy, I'm going to try to find him right now. I was so obsessed while I'm looking.
Yeah, because guys, here's the deal. You guys are when we're doing marketing, change your thought process and be storytellers. Like put yourself into this thing and people will be like, oh, I do want to sit there and drink my cup of coffee in the morning. Ooh, I do want to, walk on the back porch like he's doing every day. Like that's push people where you are. And it really takes that trust factor and says, oh, I like this guy or I like this lady. I like this, it builds that up, builds your rapport up huge.
Yeah. I'll have to look and maybe I'll drop it. It was like the coolest thing ever. So the next thing is we're kind of wrapping it up in our goals. You can do whatever you set your mind to. If you just roll up your sleeves, get in there and do it. Everything is figure outable.
Cool word, by the way, figure outable. I'm taking that word. That's great.
I am the queen of I'm going to figure this out. I don't care what it is. I do not care what it is. Well, I might not going to do heart surgery or brain surgery, but I might try to do other surgery. But I truly believe we can all achieve whatever we want. We have a real estate license. That is the entry ticket. The rest of it is just figuring it out, making a plan, doing that SWOT analysis, getting our mindset right, not going down 10,000 side trails chasing squirrels, because that can happen in real estate, aligning ourselves with the right people, working on all of this, and knowing this is not a 6-month, 9-month, 12-month, one and done thing. This is a 1-year, 5-year, 10-year thing. And when you allow yourself to understand, okay, I don't have to do it all in Q1. I can, break this out, tackle one of these per month or one of these every, quarter, and know that we're just going to build on it. So let's wrap it up.
Yeah, real quick, I had a question, then we'll wrap up. So the guy came in, somebody asked me earlier, and I saw the chat fly through on the Instagram side. And, they were like, what social media should I focus on? And here's the deal. Focus on the one you're really good at. Like for me, like I know this puts me, I'm 46. And so that puts me probably at this age part, but I'm a Facebook guy. I'm always been a Facebook guy. Like I just don't gravitate toward TikTok. Instagram I'm a little better at, kind of, sort of, but Facebook is where I'm in. So like for me, focus where you're at. Like get that right first. and then maybe you can branch out. Now with AI and AEO and all these strategies coming out, do you have to have at least a presence on these other platforms? For sure. But you can still focus on one and then duplicate the content out. And so just know, don't stress over it. Do what works for you, right?
And I would add to that, we are all different. Like LinkedIn is a social media thing. Pinterest is a social media. YouTube long form and short form, social media. The content created for each of those platforms is different. What's behind it is different. So LinkedIn is probably going to be more analytical, longer form. That's where you could do data and things like that. TikTok is going to be often a little shorter, much more entertaining. Pinterest is going to be much more beautiful and pretty. Facebook is more social, like the old school social. Figure out A, what you are really good at, and then B, where is your ideal target audience spending their time, right? So like Jeremy said, we're both in the more Facebook era, but age is not the thing. It's more, what do you enjoy doing and what can you be consistent at and good at? And please don't just show up to social media because you feel you need to show up to social media.
Don't show up. If that's the case, don't show up. Okay. Show up because you want to be there, feel like you need to be there, get in the habit of being there. And also you'll like it more, especially if you treat it like social media. Let me say it again. You're not treating it like a billboard. Okay. Right. You're treating it like social. You're trying to get social with your people connected with you. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah. So this is the very last slide, and then we can take some questions. Just plan, like I said, none of this is a 30, 60, 90 day. You can do little sprints in 90 days, but all of it is building foundational work, building the first story, building the second story, building the third story of your long-term goal, which is that vision. Like I said, the vision is not necessarily a 1 year or even a 3 year. It might be a 5 years down the road. It might be a 10 years down the road. So figure out a future date, whatever that is, but let's, for this purpose, do, December 31st, 2026. How much volume do you want to close? What does that equal in GCI, gross commission? What are your margins? Meaning, what do you get after your expenses, after your referral fees, after your taxes? What is your net profit? And then how many homes do I need to sell? And then figure out, like, what is your role? What is your zone of genius? Where can you get administrative help? Where can you get systems help? What are your best sources of business? Because you can't try to do all the things. Try to do 2 or 3 things really well. The rest of the stuff you can add on if you get the first 2 to 3 things running smoothly, but you can't be trying to do all the things. And then, are there additional people that you need? Do you need a VA? Do you need a graphics person? Are there softwares or things that you can plug in now with AI and different things like that? So kind of just make this your roadmap for 2026.
So good.
And encourage you just to dream a big vision. Just dream a big vision. Don't just do it with your safety goggles on.
And honestly, guys, where we're going to look at, guys, this whole big thing is, think about are you ready for next year? Is your business ready for next year? And figure out what plan and what process you need to implement, like today. Like, what does it look like? What does your future roadmap look like? Don't just, because honestly, guys, we live in a world, let me get personal. We live in a world where we blink and it's 3 months go by. Right? Like, I don't know. That's how my life is right now. You blink. And like, for me, I've got a 21-year-old now. I'm like, what the crap happened? Like you lose track. So you have to be focused on a daily basis on what are your goals and are you doing the steps to hit those goals daily? Because honestly, Friday comes around, you're like, what did I get done this week? Right? And so we have to stay consistent. Just how it is.
I'm just looking to see if there's any other questions or comments.
I went to a lot. Feel free, guys. You got questions? Feel free to shout out at us. If not, we will start wrapping this session up. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to investing. That's a good word. Investing the time in gold nuggets and stuff that you can take away from this and implement into your business. And there's no better time to start business planning than like today. Like don't beat yourself up that you haven't done it yet. Like today is a great day to start. So I think it'd be huge for, I would love to see success stories. So when we come back around here in a month or so, I want to share, I want to hear from you guys saying, hey, we were able to do this. We're able to write this down. We're able to have it in writing. You should have Post-it notes on your computers like myself and say, reminding yourself to do stuff consistently. I love it. Good stuff, guys. Appreciate you guys for jumping in. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. We'll work on the slides. Figure out the slide deck for you. Put in the YouTube link or whatever. Look at the kitty cat. Love kitty cat.
Yeah. This is my monster cat.
Love it. All right, guys. I think that's all we got then, right? I appreciate it, Janie. Love doing sessions with you. Love connecting. And then beyond that, guys, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the holidays if we don't talk to you before then. And be blessed. See y'all.
Bye.